We all love to believe that loyalty is the norm and betrayal is the exception. From the fairy tales of childhood to vows of friendship, we are taught that those closest to us will always have our back. But here is the brutal truth: the closer someone stands to you, the sharper their knife can cut. Carl Jung once observed, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." And irony begins right here. Betrayal begins when we, or those around us, cannot accept who we truly are or who we are becoming. Have you ever placed your full trust in someone, only to have them wield it as a weapon against you? Perhaps it was a friend who shared your secrets. Perhaps it was a partner who left when you needed them most. Or a family member who could not stand to see you grow beyond the version that made them comfortable. Why do they betray you? Not because you failed them, but because you began to evolve while they could not. Growth can be threatening. You see, betrayal is not always an act of malice. Sometimes it is the result of fear, jealousy, or unresolved wounds. People betray what they do not understand. And when your evolution reflects their stagnation, they may lash out. This video is not about casting blame. It is about truth. It is about the uncomfortable reasons behind why people betray and what you can do. By this video's end, you will not only understand the hidden psychology behind betrayal, but you will also see how every act of betrayal, no matter how painful, connects to your personal evolution. We will explore 6 deep psychological truths, not surface-level cliches, that will change forever how you understand betrayal. These are not just points. These are inner awakenings. And yes, we will walk this path hand in hand with Carl Jung, for his teachings provide the mirror we have often been too afraid to look into. So, before we dive in, here is what I want you to do. Like this video. Leave a comment below. Share this with someone healing from betrayal. Subscribe to the channel, because this journey does not end here. And most importantly, do not skip a second. Every insight builds upon the last. If you have ever whispered, "I don't deserve this," this video is for you. If you have ever asked, "Why does this keep happening to me?" this video is for you. If you have ever felt your kindness was your weakness, this video is for you. Let's begin. Music. Number 1. People betray you when your growth becomes their mirror. We do not only lose people when we make mistakes. Sometimes we lose them when we stop making the same mistakes they still do. Carl Jung wrote, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." But what if your growth irritates them because it reminds them of all they have not done? Let's get real. You were once on the same page. Perhaps you both struggled with self-worth, procrastination, people-pleasing, or toxic habits. But you decided to break the pattern. You began healing. You began evolving, and suddenly they pulled away, or worse, lashed out. They mocked your change. They called you too sensitive, too good now, or accused you of acting superior. But you were not trying to be better than anyone. You were trying to be better than who you used to be. This is betrayal in its most subtle form. It does not always come with knives. Sometimes it comes with silence, withdrawal, or passive-aggressive jokes. They may not always leave, but they stop supporting you, stop clapping for you, stop understanding you. Why? Because when you grow, you become a mirror to their inaction. Your transformation holds up a painful reflection. Look what I could be doing, but I am not. That reflection hurts. So, rather than look inward, they project outward. They betray. Not because they hate you, but because they hate what they see in themselves when you are near. Your presence reminds them of the promises they broke to themselves. That is the tragic beauty of growth. It reveals the truth about the people around you, even when you are not ready. But hear this loud and clear: your healing is not a betrayal. Their reaction is not your responsibility. Every person who walks away as you rise is making space for someone who will love you for where you are going, not just where you have been. Sometimes, the people you outgrow will betray you before you outgrow them, just to protect their illusion of control. Let them go. For while betrayal is painful, self-abandonment is far worse. Number 2, people betray you when you no longer need them. There is an uncomfortable truth most will not say aloud: some people only feel valuable in your life when you are broken. They do not love you. They love being needed by you. As long as you depended on their advice, their support, their validation, they stayed. They gave. They smiled. They called you family. But the moment you began to stand on your own, they began to resent your independence. This is among the most twisted betrayals. It does not come from enemies. It comes from those who were once your emotional lifeline. Carl Jung touched on this with the idea of the shadow self, the parts we hide, repress, and deny. And one of the darkest shadows within relationships is covert control through dependence. It is not always obvious. In fact, it often looks like love. But look deeper, was their care truly unconditional, or was it built upon your neediness? People who have not dealt with their own wounds often form relationships where they feel important only by keeping others small. It is not conscious. It is subconscious survival. They derive their self-worth from helping, but not from helping you grow past them. So when you stop calling as often, when you make decisions without their input, when you start saying no instead of yes, they panic. Their ego shifts into defense. They feel abandoned, not because you hurt them, but because they were using your brokenness to feel whole. And then comes the betrayal. It might look like guilt-tripping, passive aggression, talking behind your back, or they vanish just when you need support the most, ironically, for growing too strong to need them. Let that sink in. People will betray you because you healed the very wound that bonded you. It is sad. It is real. But it is also necessary, for you are not here to be someone's emotional project. You are not here to remain broken so someone else can feel useful. True relationships evolve. Real love celebrates your growth. Real loyalty adjusts to your new self. And if someone needs you to stay small to stay close, that is not love. That is control. Let them go. There is an old saying, if they only loved you when you were weak, they were never strong enough to love the real you. Your independence is not abandonment. Your healing is not betrayal. You are allowed to outgrow your own pain, even if it means outgrowing the people who helped you through it. For you do not owe your future to those who were only comfortable with your past. Number 3, people betray you because they cannot control the new you. There is a version of you certain people fell in love with, and it was not always your truest self. Sometimes it was the version that agreed too easily, stayed quiet to keep peace, sacrificed your needs to avoid conflict. That version was easy to manage. Predictable. Safe. But the moment you started saying no, setting boundaries, choosing self-respect over people-pleasing, everything changed. Carl Jung wrote, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Many are unconsciously drawn to relationships they can control. Not because they are evil, but because control offers them security. When you begin your shadow work, healing old patterns, questioning beliefs, speaking up, you are no longer as malleable. And for those used to a version of you they could control, your growth feels like rebellion. Suddenly, your boundaries are disrespect. Your silence is attitude. Your detachment is selfishness. But it is not. It is liberation. You were never meant to stay in a version of yourself that existed solely to make others comfortable. You are not being disloyal. You are evolving. But they will feel betrayed, because the power dynamic is shifting, and people rarely give up control willingly, especially when they never realize they had it. They may manipulate, you've changed. They may guilt trip, you're not who you used to be. They may try to isolate, you think you're better than us now. But none of this is truly about you. It is about their loss of control. And here is the deeper truth, if they loved you only when they had control over you, that was not love. That was ownership disguised as affection. Betrayal often comes as a backlash to your self-ownership. But the real betrayal would be returning to a smaller self to keep their illusion alive. Jung explored individuation, the process of becoming your true self by integrating your unconscious into consciousness. That journey, by nature, is lonely. It threatens every relationship built on illusion. You will lose people not because you hurt them, but because you stopped letting them define you. Let them feel what they need to feel. You are not here to be controlled. You are here to be whole. Number 4, people betray you when you reflect their unhealed wounds. Some betrayals are not about what you did wrong, but what you unknowingly triggered. You see, we all carry wounds, childhood rejection, abandonment, shame. And sometimes your presence, your energy, your confidence, your kindness activates those wounds in others. It is not your fault, but it happens. Carl Jung famously said, "Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darkness of other people." But when someone refuses to confront their darkness, they may project it onto you instead. Perhaps your confidence reminds them of their insecurity. Perhaps your boundaries remind them of the ones they never set. Perhaps your emotional availability reminds them of their emotionally unavailable parents. Without realizing it, you become a symbol, a mirror, a reopened wound. And instead of healing, they attack. They might ghost you out of nowhere, lie about you to protect their ego, or sabotage what was a solid connection. All because the version of you they see brings up the parts of themselves they have not faced. You become too much for someone who never learned to handle their own emotional depth. This is why some betrayals feel so confusing. You did not change. You did not wrong them. But suddenly they are cold, distant, or spiteful. Here is the truth: you reminded them of their own pain. And rather than deal with it, they ran. This is not about being a bad person. It is about emotional maturity. Some people lack the tools to face their wounds, and so they punish the people who mirror them. That is why betrayal sometimes comes from those you thought were safest. It is not your responsibility to carry their unresolved emotions. You can hold compassion for their pain without shrinking yourself to avoid triggering it. Because at the end of the day, protecting your peace is not betrayal. It is self-respect. You are not here to be someone's unintentional therapist. You are allowed to walk away from people who punish you for wounds they refuse to heal. Number 5, people betray you because they secretly compete with you. It is painful to admit, but some people were never truly for you. They were quietly competing with you. They may have celebrated your wins, as long as they were winning too. But the moment you pulled ahead emotionally, spiritually, financially, their support turned to subtle hostility. Carl Jung warned of this unconscious darkness, saying, "People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls." And jealousy is the loudest evidence of an untouched soul. But here is the painful twist: competitors do not always come as rivals. Sometimes they come disguised as best friends, close family, or long-term partners. They do not want to see you fail, but they also do not want to see you succeed too much. They clap for small wins. But the moment your win makes them feel less than, betrayal creeps in. And it often arrives in disguise: a sarcastic comment cloaked as a joke, a backhanded compliment, a sudden coldness after good news, a mistake that somehow sabotages your progress. They may not even realize they are doing it. That is what makes it dangerous. See, envy does not just destroy friendships. It turns love into rivalry, trust into tension, history into hostility. You might wonder, why would they betray me? I always wanted us both to win. But that is the problem. You were not playing a game, but they were. In their unhealed mind, your growth feels like their loss. Your confidence feels like an attack on their insecurity. Your light exposes the darkness they have been hiding. That is when betrayal happens. They break your trust to re-establish the illusion of control, to feel they have leveled the field. It is not about you. It is about a scoreboard they have been keeping, one you never signed up for. Here is what you must remember: you are allowed to shine without guilt. You are allowed to rise without apologizing. You are allowed to win without dimming yourself to protect someone else's fragile ego. Because people who truly love you will see your success as inspiration, not intimidation. You do not have to fight back. You just have to stop playing a game that was never yours. Number 6, people betray you because you have outgrown the old contract. Every relationship, whether we realize it or not, is built on an unspoken contract. You play this role. I play that role. You give this. I give that. And as long as we stay the same, things feel safe. But what happens when you grow and that contract no longer fits? Maybe you were once the listener, always available for their problems. Or the helper, constantly sacrificing your needs. Or the funny one, hiding pain behind humor. Or the quiet one who never challenged anyone. But as you evolve, you change the terms. You start saying what you feel. You stop overgiving. You want deeper conversations. You value peace over performance. And suddenly, you are violating a contract they never admitted existed. Carl Jung understood this deeply with his idea of the persona, the mask we wear to meet social expectations. But when you remove that mask and show your authentic self, it can feel like betrayal to those who only ever connected with your disguise. They may say, "You're not who I thought you were." And they are right. You are not. You have grown. But instead of growing with you, some will betray you. Not from cruelty, but from fear, fear of change, of no longer fitting, of confronting their own stagnation. You did not outgrow them from pride. You outgrew the version of yourself that kept the relationship alive at the cost of your truth. Let that sink in. You did not betray them. You stopped betraying yourself. And sometimes the cost of self-loyalty is the loss of relationships built on self-abandonment. That is okay. You are allowed to rewrite your story. You are allowed to break contracts written by your wounded self. The people meant for you will adapt. They will re-sign a new contract with love, respect, and growth. The rest? Let them go. Here is the truth most never tell you: betrayal does not break you. It shows you who was never really with you. You did not lose them. You discovered them. And in the ashes of that heartbreak lies a priceless gift: clarity. Carl Jung once said, "In each of us, there is another whom we do not know." And when we are betrayed, that hidden self, the strong one, the wise one, the awakened one, begins to rise. Yes, betrayal hurts. But so did the illusions you clung to before it happened. So do not run from betrayal. Learn from it. Let it open your eyes, sharpen your heart, and elevate your standards. You are not too much. You are not too sensitive. You are not the villain. You are simply someone who chose to grow. And in that growth, you became incompatible with those who refused to. That is not a tragedy. That is a transformation. Let betrayal be your teacher. Let it burn away what is false. Let it guide you toward relationships built not on comfort, but on truth. And never forget, every time someone betrays you, they remove themselves from the future you are meant for. So breathe deep. Stand tall. And walk forward, not bitter, but wiser. Your future is too beautiful to be built on broken loyalty. If this video touched something in you, I want you to like it. Drop your favorite affirmation from this video in the comments. Share it with someone who needs this healing. Subscribe to the channel for more real, soul-deep content like this. You are not alone in this. And this betrayal, it is not your ending. It is your awakening. Until next time, stay true, stay whole, and stay rising.